All right, here we go. We got a miter box with partitions. Find the plans in the box. First thing we're going to take a look at is the size of things. So if we take a look at our first one, we've got part A. We've got two of them, one for each side. And then we'll figure out it's 12 by 2.5 by 5/8. Yeah, it says so at the top. So I'll write that out, fill it out. Do the same for B, figure out how big that one is, how many you got. And then we're going to make A and B at the same time. So I'm going to add up A and B and add 1 inch, right? So it's like I came up with about 18 inches there. Marking it, squaring it, chopping it. All right, I messed up earlier, but no big deal. We'll just move on, do our best. So we're going to plane the board to thickness should be your next step with the vents on. So I started at my thickness, and then we're just going to get it down to, it was 3/4, going down to 5/8, I believe, on this project. After that, we'll join an edge, but I went back. You know, you can see I got a different board because I cut things in the wrong order, but it wasn't that big a deal. So I join one edge. That good edge is going to be against the fence. I'm going to rip this one, good edge against the fence. Use that leftover piece and cut it again. So we got 2 rips on that. So we have 2 boards, 2.5 inches. Now we're going to get that dado, right? So I'm on this back table saw. Power off first since we're messing with the blade. And then we're going to look at the height of the blade, thickness of the blade, distance from the fence. So first up, we're looking at the height of the blade, and then I'm going to set my fence, right? So I got that set. And then we're looking, we have the correct, there's 2 blades there, so it's a 1/4 inch wide. Okay, powered up, and we'll set up our hedgehog to keep pressure against the fence. I'm going to use my push stick, and we're pushing through and all the way through. If there's a little jog in it, then you probably went too fast or didn't have pressure down. So make sure you can see all the way through there cleanly. That's done. Now, I believe we need to chop some angles here, right? That's mine. Don't steal it. That's why I put my name on it. Oh, here we go again. Look at that guy. I'm gonna get some angles cut. We're at a 45 in those corners, right? And that's from the point to point when we say the 45, and the measurement was 12. So before I do anything, I don't care about a measurement right now. We're just gonna get that angle on. So I loosen that, drop it in at 45, and then we're gonna lock it into place. Now we just need to pay attention to our dado when we are thinking about which way we're going to cut this thing. It should be on the inside. So that's my first chop right there, right? So the dado's always on the inside of the box. That's where our bottom piece is going to go. So we can do that on both of our boards. And I'm just taking the corner. I'm just hitting the corner, just make sure 45. How long? Don't take off too much material. Next up, we're going to figure out how long it needs to be. So I'm going to do the short side first. We're going to take it off of both boards, so 5 inches. And how does that supposed to look? So I'm gonna cut it like this because that angle needs to come out. And so I'm gonna put the mark in the correct spot because of that. So let's mark it up front there on top because that's what I need to see. So now that I have that, I can line it up correctly. I think I can get the camera off so we can get a better look at where I'm lining this thing up. So then if we look there, yeah, I'm putting that blade tooth right on that pencil mark, but I needed a clamp. So I ran and grabbed one. And then we're going to grab a piece of scrap wood or something, hold it against. So I'm going to double check my work. We're in the right spot. We're going to line that up, keep pressure on the board, and hold it tightly. And we're going to transfer that pressure, make sure that board doesn't move. We're going to clamp it into place. This way I can get 2 boards that are the same length, and you'll see here in a second. So So on this one, I want to chop down, but we'll stay at the bottom. Like, don't move. Don't let that move. Look at the blade stops, and then I pull it out. If you pull it back up, you'll ruin that edge, right? So I'm going to do the same thing. So blade was stopped when I got my hand over there. Making sure the top and the bottom are even. Boom, 5 inches. Next thing is the same deal. We're just going to make sure to get that angle on there first. So I'm just cutting that corner off because it's the angle's wrong. So I flipped it over, I chopped it. Do the same on my other piece. Oh, look at me putting scraps away. And then we'll think about cutting to length after that. So I'll chop both of those, scrap away. This one was supposed to be 12 inches, right? So then I get set up for 12, and I did the same process. I put a little mark on it, right? I line it up. I was thinking about doing it on the other side, but I was like, that's not gonna work too well. So I move my clamp, I double check my work, I chop, and I'm holding it down the whole time this time. Hand is away from the blade, and then we check the top and bottom for accuracy. Beautiful. Nice. So now where are we going? Oh yeah, we gotta put some 5/8 thick boards, but they're a 1/4 inch deep, right? Where I'm putting those dados in there for our partitions. Make sure we're off as we're looking at the blade. So we want to check our distance from the fence is one of them. It should have been 3 inches. So I moved it several times to get it right. And that's it. 3 inches to the outside of that blade. Then we need to check our height of the blade as well. I'm cleaning up my space. I got a piece of scrap wood to test on. And we're checking our height. Should be a 1/4 inch at the highest point. So you see I'm rotating a little bit. So I adjust, I check, I adjust, I check. And I'm even going to cut a piece of scrap wood and check. So when you get it right, lock that down. And waiting for it to turn on. Miter gauge, hands both on the miter gauge, making that cut all the way through. You can see the tear out on that, right? Oh, that's a good fit, right? So the width is good. How is our depth? So we're checking our depth right now. And we'll see that it's a little too deep, I believe. So the blade's too tall, right? We're supposed to be at a 1/4. I'm closer to 5/16. So I'm going to lower this thing down. I'm going to grab another piece of scrap wood. I'm going to test and check. And now my depth is good. I'm at a 1/4. So again, test on scrap wood before you do yours. You saw the tear out on the first one. I'm cutting a lot slower on this one so I don't get that tear out on the end. You see a little bit, but not the same, right? If you want to put a backer board on it to reduce that even more, might be a good idea. So, hey, look at that, all that. That thing's cut up. Got a slot, minor angles. Man, I think I'm pretty happy with what we got going here. Good luck.